Hey guys, I'm Dean doing some night riding. This guy behind me's got a shitload of lights on his scooter. I like it though. Anything to increase safety, which is loudness and it's the same guy. He keeps passing me. He keeps passing me off the start, which I think he thinks makes him cool, and then I keep flying past him like 2 seconds later. I'm not doing it now because I'm talking, but I'll let him have his moment of glory. Speaking of glory holes, I don't even know what that means actually. I know it's a sexual term, but I don't know what it means. Well, just gonna pull out a lane, stop. Yeah. I don't know what glory hole means, but I know it's a sexual term. I don't know what dirty Sanchez. I think I know what dirty Sanchez means. It's pretty insane. I don't think anybody actually does it. Why would you do that? Seems kind of like a S&M thing. Man, shorts. Asians might not have breasts, but they have perfect legs, and they have no problem wearing the shortest possible shorts possible. Like it's just insane. They won't show off any cleavage. There's actually a comic which kind of shows the difference between Western and Eastern culture. It shows an Asian girl looking at like a white girl's top, and the white girl has like a low neckline, and the Asian girl is thinking, what a slut, because of a low neckline. And then the white girl is looking at the Asian girl's legs, and she's wearing like, you know, super short shorts, and the white girl's thinking, what a slut. And it's so true, because they do not show cleavage, even if they have a chest, and some do, it's rare, but some of them have large chests. They don't show cleavage, but they'll wear the shortest possible shorts. And then, yeah, in the West, in the West, they'll wear anything if they're slutty enough, but they're in the West, a girl is far more likely to show off cleavage than she is to wear like shorts that are that are shorter than her underwear. Shorts so short that their frilly underwear is hanging out. I need gas, and all the gas stations keep being closed. What's with that? It's only like, what time did they close? It's 10 o'clock at night. I'm gonna make a U-turn because I saw one that was open, and I don't want to risk riding by another 2-3 that are closed. I'm just making a U-turn. This should totally be legal. I'm not even like going into the intersection. I'm like I don't even cross the crosswalk. I'm like just hugging the curb. How is that unsafe? Be like a total different set of rules for bikes. Well, there already pretty much is in Taiwan, which is one of the reasons why I love living here. I like a lot of shit about Taiwan. It's not just the driving, riding. I like their products, Asus, Asus, Acer. I think Asus is, I'm not positive. Acer definitely is. Gigabyte, they make motherboards. HTC, and cell phones obviously. Luxgen, it's kind of car. I want my next car to be a Luxgen. Oh yeah, and Eon scooters, AEON, Eon scooters, they're actually really good. I'm becoming like a connoisseur of all things Taiwanese. Like anytime I want to buy anything, like a vehicle, a car, electronics equipment, I'm just like, I always try to buy Taiwanese. They're not in general, they're not going to be the best, but they're not far from it, and you get a lot more bang for your dollar. Like if you were to buy Japanese, and yeah, it's probably going to be better, but it's also going to be, it's going to be 20% better, but at double the price. So it's like, well, it's not exactly worth it in my opinion. So I'll stick with Taiwanese. Thank you very much. And so far they're, I wonder how many miles do I have in this tank? 160. Wow, that's a lot for me. 160. Normally I get like 120 from a tank. Joe?
加满。
Yeah, 我自己加。 I always do it myself. Other people don't. Brad doesn't. He lets them do it. I'm like, Brad, and he's like, yeah. One time, this girl, she like hit the thing against my tank, and she like chipped the paint, and then she like, and then she spilled some oil on it, and I asked her to get a rag, and she was like, like that, as if I was a bother. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's your own fault for letting them do it. Do it yourself. So to fill the tank, it's costing me $3.50, which is about. I don't know, about 12 bucks. No, wait a minute. 10? Yeah, $12. Yeah, I'm in a good mood. It's rare that I'm out on my own at night like this, cruising around. Says yeah. I used to do it a lot when I first went. I don't have any pockets, do I? I don't have pockets. I think he just said to his coworker, he's like, that guy's insane. He keeps talking to himself. Got a mental guy on a motorcycle. Mental guy on a Ninja. They should just assume I'm talking on Bluetooth. That's what I would assume. Like if I saw a guy just talking to himself, I would just assume, oh, okay. But maybe they've never heard of that. Okay, remember to reset. For those of you that don't know, here's a riding tip. If your motorcycle doesn't have a fuel gauge, which mine doesn't, a lot of motorcycles don't have a fuel gauge. Some do. Most, I don't know. Some don't. The ones that don't, you got a couple of different options. If it's an older motorcycle, what it'll have is it'll actually have a switch down here on the left, and it'll have like fuel tank, then off, and then reserve. So what you do is you ride around with it on fuel, and then when the bike starts to chug, like when it runs out of gas, you just reach down and switch it to the reserve tank, which is not actually a separate tank. It's actually the same tank, but it has like two different straws, if you will. Like the longer straw is for fuel, and the shorter one is reserve. So when the fuel gets down to here and it starts to run out of gas, then you just switch to the lower straw, so you get more gas for the last little bit. And that's how you know you need to get gas. It seems like a complicated thing to do when they could have just include a gas tank, a fuel gauge. And then with my motorcycle, I don't have the switch thing. What I just have is a fuel light, which is this one here. It was on a second ago. And yeah, just when I get down to like one, I think my tank holds 5 liters. I could be wrong. And I think when I get down to like 1 liter, then the light comes on. So I can still actually go for quite a bit on 1 liter, maybe another 40 kilometers, 50 kilometers. But yeah, so I just wait till the light comes on. But another thing you can do is, I was telling Brad this the other day, is use your tripometer, and then anytime, because the problem is when the light's not on, okay, you know you got gas, and you know you're not very low on gas, but you don't know if you've got 1/3 or 2/3 or what, So if you're about to go up a mountain or something, you pretty much have to go get gas because you don't know how much you have left, and it might be a while to the next gas station. So what you do is you take one of your tripometers, and you just, every time you get gas, you reset the tripometer. So that way you know roughly how far you can go in a tank of gas, so you just use that as your gauge. It works as accurately, it actually works more accurately than a fuel gauge, because a fuel gauge, you see that you got 1/3 of a tank, but you don't know exactly how many kilometers you can go on that. But if you use your odometer, your tripometer, and you're familiar with how much, like I know I can go about If I'm riding really aggressive, I can only go about 120 kilometers on a tank before the light comes on. Just now I went about 150 before the light came on, but that's because I was riding with Brad the other day. So I was riding slow, conservatively. It's amazing, you know, like that's the difference. You know, I get an extra like 40 kilometers from a tank of gas because I just take it easy. It's a huge difference between how I normally ride and how much gas I use the way I normally ride, and how much gas I use when I'm riding like a normal person. And we were still riding quick, mind you. Don't get me wrong. We were putting along the speed limit. We're still doing double, triple the speed limit on average. It's not so much about what speed you do, it's just about how hard you accelerate. Like if you just gradually accelerate from up to any speed, double the speed limit, triple speed limit, whatever, you're still kind of not wasting gas. But if you're always just like full throttle up to whatever speed you want to do, even if it's only the speed limit, if you're always going full throttle up to the speed limit, you're going to use more gas than someone who gradually goes up to above the speed limit.
OK， 不要这样子。那是小只的，弟弟那个是小小的。好可爱哦 ，Daddy。他会跳，Daddy 小心，他会跳。
他要跳。
对啊，他要吃，所以他跳。你不要太低，Daddy。